my name is Vanessa Jimenez, and I'm here today with Gary Durston, founder of the High Performance Credit System P.A.C.E. So what does the HPCS system name P.A.C.E. stand for?
So Vanessa, P.A.C.E. stands for Predictive APR Credit Evaluator. And currently we have the only system in the market that delivers predictable lender data to sales management so that they can select the right vehicle, work the deal with the right payment for the consumer. P.A.C.E. will additionally provide conditions that the lender may require from the consumer, such as cash down requirements. It provides what we call critical data, which is the APR assigned to the customer. And it does it in a very non-discriminatory way. It's done through our patent pending analytics. It drives a median retail rate based on the customer's credit, current credit trends, and capacities.
So when you say other lender terms and conditions, what other information does P.A.C.E. provide?
So Vanessa, another thing that P.A.C.E. does is we have a very unique analytics. We look to identify a consumer based on their credit profile. Credit profiles that P.A.C.E. looks at, there's 5 major credit profiles. The first profile would be framed as prime credit. That could be FICO driven, but we also add some additional requirements on history of credit, revolving utilization, current payment trends, etc. Then we move into the 4 major subprime categories or profiles, right? The first one would be like a bankruptcy profile. This is any consumer that posted on their credit bureau shows that they had a bankruptcy. And there's basically 3 statuses that bankruptcy profile could be. It could be a discharge bankruptcy, a dismissed profile bankruptcy, or an open profile, right? All bankruptcy profiles. The next profile it would look at is a first-time buyer. In the industry, management refers to this consumer as a thin file, no file. You know, if we really want to get into the slang, a ghost.
Yes.
It's just saying that the customer really doesn't have enough credit to promote a history that we can track or base the risk analysis on. After that, we go into a general profile. This really is the largest segment of the market, and it's any consumer that isn't a bankruptcy, a first-time buyer, or the last profile, al-Darag. An al-Darag customer is simply somebody that had an event that has caused them to have some problems paying their current open trade lines, past trade lines, etc. So literally anything on their bureau has not been positive paid for 12 months or more for $5,000 or greater in trade line.
How does this system help the dealer?
So Vanessa, there's a lot of problems that arise when we identify a subprime customer. The first thing that we talk about when we talk to dealers about utilizing our system is time. The time a subprime customer is requested to stay at the showroom becomes excessive, and the customer literally runs out of patience and their own time. They have to go. The reason for that is the slow decision process to not only view the credit, but to send it off to lenders for a final decision. This causes a lot of delays. Based on a recent convention I just attended in Dallas, the NAF convention, it seems as though a fast turnaround time for a lender is somewhere between 30 minutes and 60 minutes. But when we take in consideration a late Friday night and the lenders are off for the weekend, these decisions we're waiting for 3 and 4 days in a lot of cases. So P.A.C.E. in 10 seconds reads, identifies, and provides the predictive critical data required for management to make their decision. So time is one of the strongest features that we talk about. The next thing would be compliance. With all the pushback from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, discriminatory practices has a huge focus right now. We have found and verified through many legal firms and the NADA themselves that because of our analytics, we've removed human influence and each manager's subjective decision on what an APR should be assigned to that customer. So we add a lot of compliance benefits to the dealerships.
Is it safe to say that P.A.C.E provides a faster decision?
Absolutely safe to say. P.A.C.E addresses, again, some other problematic steps in any sales workflow. The first thing is the collection of the credit application. Normally this is done with a handwritten app with a salesperson that could be experienced or inexperienced, not knowing the right questions to ask. The P.A.C.E credit application is interactive and it's tutorial, so it goes through the questions at a very quick rate and it knows all the right questions to ask. So we speed up the collection of that information. Then a normal workflow step would be for the salesperson to take the credit app back to sales management, who now has to decipher the writing of that credit app, input it into a conduit to send to a credit bureau. P.A.C.E, once we collect that information, the customer acknowledges okay to pull credit. It pulls the credit, reads the credit, and provides the critical data to the sales management staff in 10 seconds or less. So we've eliminated 12 to 15 minutes in downtime just in that one step. And then finally, if the customer credit is not of prime nature, the critical data is delivered in that one push, which saves the time of sales management to now start conferencing with finance to figure out which lender, which program, which rate, which advance.
Time is definitely one of the major subprime pain points. What other benefits would P.A.C.E provide the dealer and the consumer?
So for the consumer and really the dealer, a big focus has been placed on the term yo-yoing. Yo-yoing is a fact where a customer would take delivery of a vehicle that they agreed to terms, conditions, selling price, and they're waiting for the final decision from the lender. A yo-yoing effect happens when the lender does not approve the vehicle that the customer took delivery on and maybe reduce the total amount financed. The payment was capped at an amount less than what the contract term showed. So the dealer is forced to ask the customer to come back and re-car into a lesser vehicle, lesser price, perhaps maybe even longer term. So P.A.C.E, because of its predictive analytics, it provides a rate based on the median of the available lending programs to that respective dealer. Knowing the rate up front is going to greatly reduce, if not eliminate, the yo-yoing effect.
Gary, can you tell me a little bit more about the subprime market and the missed sales opportunities you talked about earlier?
This could be a long discussion, Vanessa. The truth of that question, we have to look at missed opportunities by franchise dealers across the country. One of the reasons a dealer would contract me to come into their dealership is to go deep into consumer credit training for sales management. And I just want to talk briefly about a normal promotion flow for a salesperson. They start at the sales level. They're typically successful at the sales level. They get promoted into an assistant manager position and then ultimately into a sales management position or even finance position. All of this happens without the dealer providing a requirement for that individual to attend high-level advanced credit bureau training. It's just a product of the industry. So with my expertise, I go into dealers and we go very deep into reading the credit bureau, deciphering all the current trends, looking at things that they've never been taught to look at or view in the credit bureau. This credit knowledge P.A.C.E has in its analytics. So regardless of your management churn, regardless of promoting a brand new salesperson into a management position, P.A.C.E is going to deliver a consistent, high-level, predictive data based on the lending programs like it was a 40-year professional like I.
How large would you estimate this market to be?
So that's a very hard question that even some large corporations have a hard time delivering the right answer. But LexisNexis just did a 10-year survey and they researched this market. They estimate the market of they call it underbanked population. This is a population that exists within subprime that are missed opportunities annually. And they estimate that population to be somewhere between 35 million and 50 million people. The problem this presents to the dealer is if we can't correctly identify the opportunity, even though the customer has shown up at the dealership, they are prepared to purchase a vehicle, management is not equipped to effectively process that opportunity and turn it into a sale for the dealership and a purchase for the consumer. That leaves the consumer in a bad position. They have to look for other various ways to secure a vehicle. Vehicles, in a lot of cases, they're not want items, they're need items. I need the car to get to work, to take my children to school, etc. So from the franchise dealer perspective, we need to have great identification, efficient processes, and have the knowledge to secure those financing opportunities.
Gary, one last question. With all the push from the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau regarding discriminatory rates and practices, how can P.A.C.E provide the consumer and the dealer protection?
So this is a question that we get asked a lot. The staff at High Performance Credit Systems takes it very seriously on giving the dealer good, detailed information about compliance. The biggest part that I can tell you that we have had confirmed is because our system analytics removes all human influence, we virtually put the dealer in a much better position to defend against discriminatory ECOA suits for those practices because we have a consistent process driven by a system, not influenced by the way somebody looks, not influenced by race, sex, age. Our analytics do not take any of those into consideration when it drives that critical lending data.
Thank you, Gary, for taking the time to talk with us today about the High Performance Credit System P.A.C.E.
Thank you, Vanessa. We certainly appreciate your time in asking those important questions. And for dealers wanting to schedule a demo, you can contact us at hpcredit.com.